Welcome to our March-April 2023 edition of the CSEE News. We report on economic, construction and real estate trends in all major countries in Central and Southeast Europe, such as Poland, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, Czechia, Slovakia, Serbia, Slovenia, and Croatia. Today, you are with our news on Poland. And we start with the news on the residential asset class. The estimated value of transactions in the Polish institutional rental market exceeded 1.8 billion euro at the end of 2022, most of which were contracts for projects under development, that is, forward contracts, according to the latest DLA Piper and Savills report. PRS market in CE. Experts expect that high real estate prices and the declining availability of mortgages will generate increased demand for apartment rentals in the coming years and thus attract new investments to this market segment. Institutional investors in Poland currently offer more than 11,600 rental units, of which more than 40% are located in Warsaw. In addition, another 4,400 apartments in the PRS segment under construction in the capital and projects under construction throughout Poland now include more than 10,000 units, according to estimates by experts DLA Piper and Savills. Poland has thus become one of the largest PRS markets among CE countries in recent years, according to the report. Taking into account the ratio of average earnings to housing prices, Warsaw was among the 4 most expensive capitals in Europe, alongside Prague, Bratislava and Paris. As the report shows, the cost of buying a 75 square meter apartment in Warsaw is equivalent to almost 20 years of average salary. By comparison, the average value for European Union countries is less than 15 years. As experts have concluded, the average price of an apartment in Poland's 6 largest cities has increased by an average of almost 80% over the past 8 years. That is from 2015 till 2022. Furthermore, while until the third quarter of 2021, the mortgage payment installment remained relatively stable and did not exceed 35% of the average salary, by the end of 2022, it already accounted for almost 59%. Meanwhile, rental rates have grown much more slowly and now account for 39% of the monthly salary compared to an average of 35% over the past 4 years. Another factor driving the growth of the PRS sector in Poland is the continual significant housing deficit. Poland is among the top countries with the highest number of young people aged 18-34 living with their parents. The percentage was over 64% in 2021, 50% points higher than the EU average. There are currently 20 institutional investors operating in the Polish institutional rental market, and the 3 largest, Resi for Rent, managed by Griffin Capital Partners, Fundas Mieszkan na Wynajem, managed by PFR Nieruchomość, and Vantage Rent, owned by TAG Mobilin, control more than half of the market, according to the report. Experts point out that due to the high cost of construction, some investors may consider alternative solutions such as revitalizing old residential buildings or converting office space for housing and institutional rental. Moreover, the private rented sector will also have to face rising energy costs and increasingly implement sustainable building solutions. We move on to the news on the office asset class. In the fourth quarter of 2022, it was similar to previous quarters regarding new supply on the Polish office market. Once again, developers' activity was higher in regional cities such as Kraków, Wrocław, Tricity, Katowice, Lodz, Poznan, Szczecin and Lublin, where a total of 73,800 square meters was delivered between October and December 2022, with a relatively modest result for Warsaw alone of only 8,700 square meters. The largest completed projects in Q4 2022 were those in Krakow, such as Brain Park A and Brain Park B, at investment respectively nearly 14,000 square meters and 17,000 square meters. And the next phases of the Fabryczna Office Park Complex Building 4, which is a little bit over 12,000 square meters. On the other hand, the DPD headquarter development was put into operation in Warsaw. Throughout 2022, a total of 600 square meters. This is an increase of 16.5% year-over-year, was delivered on the Polish office market, with a breakdown of over 400,000 in regional markets and 237,000 square meters in the capital. That is, we see an increase of 79% year-over-year in the regional markets and a decrease of minus 27% in the capital. Thus, by the end of 2022, the sector's total stock stood at over 12.7 million square meters, which is over 4% increase year-over-year, with a breakdown of 6.26 million square meters in Warsaw and 6.43 million square meters in regional cities. The largest amount of space outside the capital is located in Krakow. Next comes Wrocław and third is Tricity, with a little bit over 1 million square meters of office space. An unprecedented highlight of 2022 was the opening of Warsaw Tower, the tallest skyscraper in the European Union in Warsaw. This landmark is a metaphor for the development and culmination of another maturity phase in the Polish office market. It was one of the last projects closing a busy period of developer activity in Warsaw. The observed increases in new supply and tenant activity have not significantly affected the vacancy rate on the Polish office market, which maintains the status quo at 13.47%. The result translates into more than 1.71 million square meters of vacant space. In unit terms, Warsaw has 726,400 square meters available space, and this is a decrease of 6.68% year-over-year. And about 11.6% of the capital total stock. This is the equivalent of this vacant space, with the vacancy rate falling to 10.5% in the central zones and 12.4% outside the center. In contrast, vacant space in regional cities is 985,100 square meters, and this is an increase of 15.4% year-over-year, with the highest vacancy rate in lots at 21%. Among the largest lease transactions in Q4 2022 of more than 10,000 square meters were new lease of almost 14,000 square meters in the Konstruktorska Business Center building by Landbridge in Warsaw, and the renegotiation of a contract by a confidential finance and banking tenant in the Green Day building in Wrocław, which exceeds 14,500 square meters. Regarding trends for 2023, we expect legislative work to be completed on standardizing remote work. We are waiting for proposals and regulations of employer cost sharing for utilities or electricity, and what strategy clients will adopt due to these changes. On the supply side, on the other hand, we are entering a period of reduced activity on the part of developers, which with the rising demand will probably result in lower vacancy rates. Perhaps this situation will benefit, for example, Warsaw district, which is slowly emerging from its office monoculture, transforming itself into a decidedly more attractive place, not only to work but also to live. We move on with our news on the retail asset class. According to Cushman & Wakefield report, the retail real estate sector saw the continued expansion of retail parks in 2022, accounting for 70% of new supply delivered to the market. However, the next few months may experience a downturn in consumer sentiment, with lower retail sales and in turn reduced turnover for retail tenants. Changes in sales levels vary by product category. Last year, the largest year-on-year increase in retail sales were experienced by textile, apparel, and footwear, 22%, followed by pharmaceutical, cosmetics, and orthopedic equipment stores, 12%. Car dealers, on the other hand, experienced the largest declines, down 9.6%. E-commerce share of retail sales in 2022 fluctuated by around 10%. The retail categories with the highest e-commerce share were fashion, multimedia, which includes newspapers, magazines, books, and specialty store sales, furniture, as well as electronics and home appliances. In total, 400,000 square meters of modern retail space was delivered to the market in 2022, nearly 95,000 square meters less than in 2021. The new supply delivered across all formats included 33 new developments, 12 expansions, and 5 redevelopments. 14 new Polish and international brands made their Polish debut in 2022, 9 fewer than in the previous year. Brands that opened their first stores in Poland in 2022 included Haribo, Uniqlo, Lovisa, Mnogoknik, Sportano, Snipes, and DM drugstores. However, 8 chains decided to cease their operations or filed for bankruptcy. Stores such as Orsay, Uterk, BookBook, Go Sports, Sfera, and Hollister are no longer on the Polish retail market. In the fourth quarter of 2022, rents for units on main shopping streets fell by 5% year-over-year, while rents for prime units in the shopping center sector were unchanged. However, rents in retail parks recorded a 9% year-on-year increase. As stipulated in lease agreements, rents will be indexed in early 2023. At the end of last year, there was about 15.7 million square meters of retail space in Poland, including 410 and 10,000 square meters that were delivered to the market in the last 12 months. During that time, the largest building which debuted on the market was the Karussela Center in Kolubrek, 30,000 square meters. The past year has shown the dominance of retail parks in both new supply and ongoing construction processes. Throughout 2022, about 60% of openings fell into the retail park segment. Polish have not given up the habits acquired during the pandemic, and they still like to do their daily shopping quickly, conveniently, close to home, and preferably in stores with attractive price offers. This is fueling the development of retail parks, especially in small towns. The most successful outlet centers in Europe have a new leader. Cheshire Oaks, located south of Liverpool in the industrial town of Ellesmere Port, is the second English center to top the list of the most successful outlet centers in Europe. Until now, this rank in England was reserved for Bicesters Village, which is located near the University City of Oxford, as well as the tourist attraction Stonehenge. This is a result of the Outlet Center Performance Report Europe, which has been updated annually since 2008 and whose latest edition has just been published. The third place has been rewarded to the design outlet Warsaw in Piaseczno, near the Polish capital. The report, which by now is considered benchmark for the European outlet sector, is produced by the Wiesbaden-based business consultancy Ecostra in cooperation with the French research institute Magdes. It is based on data from a total of 91 international brand manufacturers who currently operate a total of 1,383 stores in existing outlet centers in Europe. This outlet center is owned by Deutsche Bank, and as mentioned, it reached the third place in Europe. The runner-up in the list, Bicester Village, is followed in the ranking by the Polish and Italian center, both of which occupy third place with identical tenant ratings. The outstanding ranking of designer outlet Warsaw is certainly the biggest surprise. Never before had the Polish center made it into the top group. The center, located south of the Polish capital in the town of Piaseczno, on an old industrial conversion site, is now owned by an investment fund of Deutsche Bank. And now we move to the news in Poland on the industrial asset class. In 2021, the warehouse sector strongly dominated Poland's commercial real estate market in terms of volume. The value of transactions, approximately 3.2 billion euro, accounted for over half of the total value of investment transactions. In 2022, the sector's result of 2 billion euro accounted for a 34% share in the total transaction volume in Poland, says Bartłomiej Krzyzak, senior developer investment at Avison Young Poland. Nowadays, the warehouse sector is facing an investment slowdown. Price expectations for warehouse products are currently the hottest subject of many discussions. Owners want to sell for more than buyers plan to pay, counting on discounts. Thus, the adaptation process has been going on for several months. By the end of December 2022, more than 4.4 million square meters, which is an increase of 42% year-over-year of new space was completed, corresponding to strong activity by tenants who leased nearly 6.7 million square meters. This counts for a minus 9%, decrease of 9% year-over-year. Another 4.4 million square meters is under construction, which is again a decrease of 25% on a yearly basis, which promises to surpass the 30 million square meters mark in 2023. The high absorption rate did not significantly affect the increase in the vacancy rate, keeping it at 4.1%. The event of the year was undoubtedly the rising rental rates, which increased on average by 15 to 20% compared to previous years, according to Aximo's recent report. The volume of investment transactions in 2022 on the commercial real estate market closed at 5.8 billion euro. Of the total demand, the new leader was the office sector, with 36% share, ahead of the warehouse sector, 34% share, and retail, 26% share. The total value of transactions involving industrial logistics assets amounted to 2 billion euro, which is a decrease 30% year-over-year. Traditionally, real estate portfolio acquisitions dominated in sales structures. Among the largest transactions in the investment market in Q4 2022 was the sale of a BTS building by Vida XL. This is a building of 130,000 square meters to Union Investment JV, Garbe Industrial, and Allianz purchase of the first tranche of properties owned by DHL, which account for 154,000 square meters. On the other hand, the number one acquisition of 2022 was as a whole was portfolio acquisitions, included Hillwood's Danica portfolio, which accounts for 129,000 square meters acquired in Q3 2022 by CBRE GI, and a quarter earlier, Panattoni sold a portfolio of warehouse parks of about 500,000 square meters to EQT Exeter. Looking at the numbers, it is worth noting that one significant transaction accounted for as much as 26% of the total volume completed last year in the warehouse sector. The acquisition of Danica warehouse portfolio from Hillwood by CBRE IM was the second largest transaction in terms of the volume recorded in 2022 and the third largest in the warehouse sector in Poland in the history of the market. The warehouse sector, similarly to the office and retail sector, is currently characterized by a significant increase in transactions outside the main markets. In the warehouse sector, this means a share increase from 24% in the total volume of the sector in 2021 to 40% in 2022. Investors notice the potential of regional markets, in particular the western part of Poland in the vicinity of Szczecin, Gorlów, Zielonogora, Gora, and Legnica. At the end of 2022, the total volume of lease transactions in the Polish warehouse market amounted to 6.69 million square meters, which is a decrease of 9% year-over-year. On the other hand, the so-called net demand included only new contracts and expansions, contracted 4.48 million square meters, which is again a decrease of 20% year-over-year. In 2022, the largest warehouse space was leased in Warsaw at 1.38 million square meters, Upper Silesia at 1.22 million square meters, and Central Poland at 885,000 square meters. Noteworthy markets on the demand side remain Western Poland and Tri-City, which have seen increased transactions over the past 3 years. The former is due to the proximity to the German market, and the latter through its access to a seaport. Some of the largest deals in October-December 2022 period include a new agreement signed by a confidential e-commerce tenant for 83,000 square meters at Mount Park, Wrocław, the renegotiation of a logistic operator for over 60,000 square meters at P3, Piotrków, and a contract extension by Systema at GLP TG Logistics Center Systema over 60,000 square meters. In contrast, throughout 2022, the largest contracts signed were those with e-commerce customers. In Q2 2022, Best Secret decided to lease 90,000 square meters in a BTC building prepared by Panattoni, while two confidential tenants will occupy 83,000 square meters at the Mount Park Wrocław Logistics Center and 82,000 square meters at Panattoni Park Poznan A2, respectively. These were our news on construction, real estate, and economic trends on the Polish market in all major asset classes. You can also check our news on Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, Slovakia, Croatia, Czechia, Hungary, via visiting our CSEE PropTech.eu, as well as on our YouTube channel of PropTech Bulgaria. See you soon. Bye.